Hello and greetings, ladies and gents. My name is Hyozo. I am discussing, and welcome to the pilot episode of DiscussThing's Tangent Kings. Now, a lot of you know this show. It has been through a lot. It has been through some creators. It has been through some platforms, and we're back at we at YouTube. This is the first episode, hopefully, of many that we're going to do this. We have awesome panels all the time. We have awesome people, awesome creators, people with different opinions, people with the same opinions, people with reality based minds. We're here to discuss some topics. We're here to talk about stuff. We're here to have fun. And we are here to also entertain you and keep you engaged because this is what has to happen. We need to have people interact. We need to have people entertained. And we need to shine a light on the things that are happening because it is what we do, and we hope that you have a great time. And now, for that, I would like to add to the stage the people that are going to basically carry the whole show because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm adding the first one, the dignified cartoon gentleman. We also say hi to Mr. Kai Schwarzer. Also joined, we are with Roadkill. Hello to you. And of course, Jace from Cancel This Podcast. Hello to everyone. I wish to thank you for being here and for doing this. And let's have an absolute amazing time. So I will start by actually giving the panel to everyone to introduce themselves. And since we have a standing out person who is kind of a static, maybe a little bit stiff from all the running or all the things that he's been doing from all this time. But say hello to the dignified cartoon gentleman. Hello, good sir.
I identify as a cartoon. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and it's great to see you all watching today. I am the dignified cartoon gentleman. I explore why things go wrong in pop culture, gaming, and wider entertainment. And I look forward to being the second of not just this network stream, but all the network streams going forward. I'd like to thank everyone for being here on time, except for Furious Dan, who is still hosting his own game show. But I'm sure he'll pop in eventually because he's a great guy and not stupid. So if you haven't already, folks, like the stream, share the stream, follow us all on YouTube, and follow us wherever we happen to be. So on to Kai.
Howdy. Sometimes I identify as a cartoon. But yes, I do just regular streams of me either playing games, playing stuff with friends, or also discuss stuff about pop culture as well. Like how I've just recently, due to nagging from the girlfriend, finally watched that K-pop Demon Hunters. And I hate it. No, not the movie itself. The movie is actually pretty good. I hate the fact that now I can't get any of those damn songs out of my head. But it actually is a actual pretty good, solid movie. A lot better than whatever Hollywood's putting out nowadays.
All right then.
That's good.
The host is very inexperienced. It's like his first time having sex. So don't worry. Go ahead, Helsa.
It's even worse than that. But we will do one thing that we missed doing, but let's keep it up with Roadkill that is having a great time from what I'm seeing.
Yes, yeah. Usually around these parts of the time of the day, I'm a little bit more let loose. But hi, I'm Roadkill _101. Been gaming for years. Been on YouTube, hanging around, dealing with different people for years, and just recently started doing my own thing. I'll be coming to Rumble. I don't know about YouTube, but I'll be coming to Rumble soon, doing my own streaming content creation. Probably looking like, thanks to the contract, November. So it was supposed to be this month or last month, but now I get to have a nice, comfy entrance into the fall. Other than that, I identify as usually a pack of cigarettes, and I don't like to talk about it. So I think we can just move on from here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. And off to our Dragon Ball Z t-shirt wearer, Jace, or Jose, as some people would like to call him. And I think he also likes to be called Jose.
Oh man, yeah, it's better than being called amigo, as most people in certain ghetto communities will call you in a sort of almost derogatory manner. Which, of course, I'm just coming hot off the heels of an incident where a guy threw a brick at me. Dude literally threw a brick at me at Wendy's. He had a rage incident at Wendy's. He had some fascinating behavior, which I'm sharing to you all now. The dude basically, I go to Wendy's, go try to get lunch yesterday. You know, I'm half asleep, but you know, I'm a zombie before I eat. I go and this guy is yelling at women. There are children present. He's just cursing up a storm. He has an attitude. First thing I do is get a video of this dude, because I think he's going to do something psychotic, and you know, someone's going to need some evidence. So he throws this tantrum. He leaves. He comes back and throws a brick at me. Just me, nobody else. And his aim is freaking terrible, because all he did was hit sort of the base of my hand. You know, at least if you're going to throw a brick at me, you know, aim for the head, hit a finger, you know, something. What do? You knock my meal out of my hand. They're just going to give me another one. But that was a fun moment. Just a day in the life of living in the outskirts of Metro Atlanta. Absolutely ridiculous time. Of course, I'm Jace with Cancel This Podcast, a show that is too crude for YouTube. You can find it below at allmylinks.com/cancel this podcast, because I can't say the green word because we're on YouTube and they don't like it. Well, I mean, Roadkill already said it, but you know, I didn't want to say it just in case.
Yeah, we do have to be a little bit not sensitive, but sensible. Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, did I hit a red word already?
Well, they don't like the green platform.
You probably
if you know what
did,
I mean.
but
the other place.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, I've heard
Gotcha.
rumors that they do. I don't have any like evidence of that, but I'm just going to use all my links. So
I have a way of saving the day. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Democrat Party. Now, with the Democrat Party, you can with the Democrat Party, you can do all sorts of great things. Plus, they're the best. Support Gavin Newsom for president. There you go.
Oh wow! Did you get $8,000 for that? I hear they're doing that these days.
I think donations are gonna flow in just fine afterwards. And now I want to salvage the mishap that I did a little bit earlier, and I would like to say hello to all of the chat, all of the wonderful people that are here.
Yeah.
And yes, I you will excuse me, this is my first time and it's not as
Isn't
good
there
as the
isn't
first
there a
time having
setting
sex.
where you can pop up the chat
Yep.
from
Yep,
StreamYard?
that's what I'm doing.
No, not
First
that one.
one.
The other one. There's
Which
another
other
one.
Nope.
No, not that. Does anyone else use it? You know, it's like that little gray thing to the far right, which is bad. Don't support that. It's just above the chat, Helzo. There should be a little icon where you can.
The stage comments.
Yeah,
The
that.
beta one. Yeah, I just did that, but it didn't
There
show
we go.
anything. Oh,
Ah,
yeah,
there we
yeah,
go.
yeah. Now they're gonna show. All right, I did not know that. I'm still getting used to it, but I'm gonna showcase the
Well,
comments.
when
especially-
when Dan shows up, sorry to interrupt you, Helzo, but when Dan
No
shows up, why don't you put him in the corner so that the chat
course.
can cover him up?
naturally, that's exactly what's going to happen.
And I need a
But,
dance backup in Wendy's with the brick guy. I need more Puerto Ricans. if there was enough Puerto Ricans, I don't think he would have tried it.
He might be fixing the guy's brakes. So it's gonna be an interesting night for him. But thank you to Slavery Game, who was the first one to comment here. Dignified, cartoony, gentlemanly. Yes, gentle and manly as well. We have the dignified cartoon gentleman here. We have the Finch King, who is beeping like crazy. We have me, although I shouldn't be showing myself. We have Yasto, who is one of the mods, Hailzo Panel, and Chat Discuss Balkanite. And yes, if we're identifying each other, I identify as a Balkan. And among other things, everything that comes with that.
I thought
We
you were
also
Hungarian.
have. Wow, Hungarians are weird.
Okay, all right.
We also have Clayton Ian Van Tonder, who is the first member of this channel, by the way.
Wow,
after
these
I
guys
got
are seeing me.
monetized.
Oh wow. Oh, first time.
Yeah.
Money, 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 money.
We also have Villarain, who's also saying hello. Oh, hello to you. Nice dog picture, by the way. This is a very
Also,
nice picture.
Can you hear me? Also,
No, I
money.
cannot hear you.
money.
Money,
Money.
yes, I see. I have to be consistent, otherwise I'm gonna be lost in the train, and then I'm gonna blabber about my grandma's Porsche recipe. So yes. We have Save Me Riv, who says Jace,
Well,
and
yeah,
says,
that's
Yo,
my
oh,
account. That's my account.
oh, it is. All right. Hello. Nice to have you here. Rasengan 9000 is also here. Let's go. Who is yes? I'm seeing ads, by the way. I'm one of the channels that has been absolutely bombarded with the ads bug. And I don't know if you guys are the same, but I fucking hate it. We have Kagwana, who also says, hey. And we have Kai Schwarzer, VTuber, VT. I always read it TV, by the way. I don't know why. And yes, and now let's go and see something else that has happened. Waiko is also here. A lot of chats are happening. Zalosi, who says actually hi to Kagwana, which is amazing. And now we're here. By the way, I saw the yellow, but I just needed to focus because it's a thing. But this has happened, guys. And by none other than Roadkill, who is doing the upside down devil sign for $9.99 and say happy first stream. Thank you for that. It is actually amazing to see something like this. And if people like here don't know, the point of this channel is to, on one hand, help me become full-time and do more content for you guys, for everyone else, and to become even more proactive in doing that. But also a very good chunk of everything that I receive in donations during the month and everything that I receive from YouTube is to help homeless animals and animals in shelters, which is a huge problem, especially in the Balkans. We have just in the span of 5 minutes that I'm walking to work, we have over 25 cats already homeless. So thank you, Roadkill. This would and will help a lot. So thank you very much for all. I think we went through everyone, and now we can get on with the show. I think I did that rather well for the first time. We have the first topic of the day. We have several topics that we're going to receive. We're going to view.
I'm such a rookie. I muted myself when I said well done to Helza. That proves that I have never done this before either. So I'll just write down the
First
time.
Of course, it is your first time as well, and I think we're all in the same boat here. But the first topic of the day, and let me see if I will be able to do that properly now. Just a second, because
I have it right here, folks, because I think it was Jose who recommended this. Correct me if I'm. Oh wait, no, we have to stop because money.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
because otherwise we don't see it. Everyone, first of all, say hello to Mr. Furious Dan, who's actually eating.
We talked about this.
How's it going, guys?
Put him in the corner. Elsa,
What
put
a
him where.
mattress! He's munching on something.
Always, you know it.
Put Dan in the corner, Helzo. Put him where Jose is. Put him in
Wow.
the corner.
You're gonna block
Wait,
me with the
Wendy's?
chat now.
He
huh?
put him in
he actually
Wendy's?
no, he bought himself the right to be there with this. Shout out to the Furious Dan. Thank you very much for the fan. We're having the panel donations this stream. This is amazing. First stream, and we're having the panel self-supporting the
Hey,
whole network. Which
I'm
is
here.
amazing.
I'm here in support. You guys open the door for me. I've been doing a fantastic job with my streams, and this is a huge thank you for everybody, yo. The chat,
We're happy.
number one. The chat is always number one, and then comes us. We're the entertainers, and we do our best to do our entertainment for them, and show them the best streams we can ever have done, And I'm having fun. That's all that matters. So I'm here in support. Shout out to you guys also as well. Dignified Cartoon Gentleman. And by the way, cheers. Almost my last beer. I just streamed for 5 hours just recently, so and I might do a bonus stream tonight. So, Metal Gear.
Future
first
plans
Metal
at
Gear.
the end of the show, Dan. Thank you for your $10 donation.
Mhm.
And
You were
also-
saying, Helzo.
Yes, I would
Sorry
like
about
to
that interruption.
ask Dan to, as he's now here, present yourself properly, preferably without your mouth full.
we have Do we have to? Put him in the corner.
Me present myself. Yeah, I present myself and present my channels and my gaming.
But yeah, again, thank you, Dan, for this, and you're always welcome, and you're always a great supporter of everyone, including me, and especially when in the weird times for you guys when I'm streaming, you're almost constantly there. So thank you for that.
No problem, my brother.
And now, DCG. Should I call you DCG or just
Call me
Jen?
Digny, like Dignitas, except I don't kill people.
Digny?
The first,
Like a Digny?
yeah, Digny. Thank you, Helzo. It's very kind of you. The first topic of the day is Roblox announces age restrictions. Is it enough to address safety concerns? And since Jose was the one who I think recommended this topic, why don't you provide some context for this situation, my good man?
Well, what Roblox has been dealing with is this whole problem of certain people creeping on, individuals in their game. The average age of the Roblox player is almost single digits at this point, but there are older people who have been creeping on them. We've talked about that in the past. A lot of us have on our respective channels. And so it's gotten the attention of Dateline NBC and one Chris Hansen. Now, the thing about it is not they've gotten bad press. The CEO has said some things that were alarming, like, oh, well, it's not really my problem, and those type of things, which, by the way, it's your company. It is your problem. Anything that happens to young ones under your umbrella is your problem. Their stock started to tank, and with everything going on with the Online Safety Acts and the bills and everything, they're trying to get ahead of that as well. So they're like, oh, well, now what we're going to do is separate, where there's adult channels and there's child channels, because, they got into a lot of trouble. A lot of channels were, showing the type of content that's on Roblox. Because a lot of people didn't know. A lot of parents are just like, oh, hey, Roblox is a kid's game. My kids love it. Let's put them on the game. And then you see walking genitals walking past kids in the game, like literal like walking genitalia. Like, what is this? And so now they're saying, oh, well, you won't be able to do that anymore. You're going to be, sequestered to the adults only channels. You're going to be adults only channels, child only channels. This again is from a CEO that said that he wanted to make Roblox a dating platform because people got lonely during COVID. The average age of the people that use your platform is 9. Maybe not do that, okay? Like, it's not that hard to figure out. But now they're saying, oh, we're gonna use parental controls. We're gonna use 18 plus, AI, this and that. I think it's a bit of a band-aid because, quite frankly, what stops these 50-year-old dudes from being like, oh yeah, I'm 9. I identify as 9. I wear a diaper.
The sad thing is that we actually do have people that do try to do the whole identifying them as like younger selves because that's their true self and that whole bullshit.
Wow. Fuck that. Give me a
I've literally seen like pictures and everything of like these like 45-year-old men that look like they're dressing up like 7-year-old girls that came out from like the 1970s, like the curly blonde hair, pink frill dress and all that. I'm like, what the actual shit is going on?
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, there's some messed up people. I've seen the guy dressed like a baby. Like my co-host brought up a video of a guy who, like, he literally wears a diaper. He dresses like a baby. He hires people to like give him nappies and do bottles and all this. And I mean, it's a grown ass man. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I saw that in one of those documentary shows. Like, yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it's weird. Whatever you're into when you're into, but do it adult style. Do it with other adults. Don't.
I saw that on Instagram that somebody posted pictures of dressing out like a baby and playing like kitty games.
How
And that
how
person
about
got-
we get in? How about we get into the topic with the screen I've just shared? How about that?
and that person got suspended, like literally, like taken off.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right then, folks. Apparently, this is from Dexerto, also known as Dex Puerto Rico, because their name is so difficult to pronounce. Roblox has finally made an adult-only game section amid child safety concerns. Now, the kind of adult who plays a game like this should be bullied off the internet. You can quote
Absolutely.
me on that. It's not a controversial thing to say, folks. Let me just read this a little bit of this article, to give context for all our lovely viewers, and thank you all for the donations so far. Quote, Roblox has announced that experiences labeled with the restricted maturity tag will soon only be available to users aged 18 and over. The change raises the requirement from 17 plus and begins rolling out immediately. So yes, as Jose said previously, it's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. But wasn't it the whole investigation with Chris Hansen that snowballed all this?
Yes.
Old Chris Hansen. Damn.
Yes.
I would also have a follow-up question on that.
Yeah, sure.
Because when you have this as being implemented, and we also have something very on the side with the UK Safety Act and with the needing to verify your age everywhere. So to me personally, that looks like kind of what they were going after, because you're going to have the mature channels be only for 18 years old and stuff like that, and they're going to be restricted, and they're going to be monitoring child content. You're stuck with the same problem. How are you going to determine who's what? I mean, let's face it, if you're just going out to who appears or who sounds mature, I can tell you right away that I know 3 people that are 17 and they're friends of my nephew that have deeper voices than, I don't know, hardcore criminals in a 90s TV show.
Mhm.
So you have to have, wait, hello again.
Yeah, I'm a real professional, ladies and gentlemen, because I tied my screen share link to my StreamYard page. So when I tried to click off that, I clicked off my connection. And now Roadkill's in the corner. Come on, Helzo, here's some StreamYard 101 training. There we go. Put him in the corner.
I'm going to rotate because I'm an equal corner opportunist.
And
So-
put me on top. Kai's going to crush Roadkill if he stays up there, okay?
I got you.
Wait, I'm gonna go center.
Might as well
now,
wear
I'm,
guns.
now I'm going to get crushed.
I also like how
Let's
Pete
dance.
and I
Okay,
are
let's dance.
are on one side, so it's like you've separated your whites from your colors.
Well, that's what I was told.
Now we
as a
can
kid.
now we cannot be Puerto Rican brothers because we're
No,
oh, now
no,
we're together.
Yeah.
Keep Furious Dan in the corner. He has to pull his own weight, all right?
Well,
Okay,
I
you were
think he's
saying?
pulling out a lot of things currently.
You were saying. You
But-
go ahead.
What I was saying about the topic is that when you have both of those things running simultaneously, and I've been,
There you go.
why would they do that right now if they were so adamant about their positions earlier? Well, we can assume that it was because they saw a massive withdrawal from people and a massive backlash, and we saw Chris Hansen getting into it, and everyone who has grown up with Chris, or watched Chris Hansen, knows that this is something that you don't want on your plate ever,
Mhm.
especially with that. However, the thing remains, the issue remains. How are they going to determine that? Because, and yes, Jose, and sorry about that, but said it is a band-aid, but it's not even a band-aid. It's like trying to throw sand in people's eyes. It's not even something that would fix anything. Like, because at least a band-aid is gonna cover up the wound temporarily. This is not, in my opinion, it's not even going to do that. It's just going to be, yeah, we're doing something. Like South Park, we're sorry.
Exactly.
We're sorry. Yeah. So, but
they went from 17 plus to 18 plus. So that's not really a change now, is it? That's like that doesn't stop the problem.
It's politicians. Well, it's politicians' logic, Helza. Something has to be done. This is something, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I have an ear infection, so I'm gonna poke my eye out, or I'm gonna pick my nose. So yeah, that's something. But let's go to the traditional way, and with that, I would ask you. I forgot Digny.
Digny, yeah, like Dignitac. Just think
Digny.
of assisted self-deletion, but a good guy. Digny.
Okay, that's definitely going to help me remember.
Good.
Let's go through a little bit of the article and then go through everyone to see what's going to be their opinion, because that's what we're here for.
Sure. Quote, a Roblox YouTuber boasts over 600,000 subscribers on the platform and claims that his work over the past year helped lead to 6 arrests. Roblox's letter accused him of simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information, and encouraging users to move conversations off platform. After the creator's ban, concerns of child safety on the platform rose after Roblox defended its decision to ban the vigilante. I know he puts that in quotes, folks. When your actions cause child predators to be arrested and potentially locked up. And Roblox's response is, you have no place on our platform. That is the biggest red flag imaginable. If YouTube had done something like that, there would be a massive outcry too. So it needs to be understood, because there's no place for child predators. There's no place for the maps, because even saying the actual term on this platform could get you wiped out. Right? There's no place for the maps. The only thing a map is good for is telling you where to go. All other forms of map need to be dealt with in an appropriate legal manner. So one celebrity looking to shine a light on the debate, if you can call it that, and the mounting frustrations is Chris Hansen, best known for hosting NBC's To Catch a Predator, who has built his career exposing those who prey on minors. It's a good job this isn't a Minecraft investigation. Now he's turning his attention to Roblox after reaching out to Schlepp, who is the creator in question, for upcoming documentary investigating Roblox's handling of child safety issues. And I think we can all agree that Roblox have not handled this well at all.
Let me ask the panel another question regarding this situation. Are any of y'all familiar with Guilded by any chance?
Yep.
It was a Discord type platform where a lot of people were moving to, because Discord sort of got heavy-handed with a lot of censorship. And Roblox purchased Discord and then absorbed Guilded into Roblox, like forcing you to have a Roblox account, forcing you to be a Roblox user to continue to be on it. Most people said, F this, they left. They went ahead, I'm going to go back to Discord. I'm going to find some other new alternative, whatever I have to do. But the thing is, like, if you think about it, okay, most people use Guilded to either, get away from Discord's, policies. Some of those were to get rid of their censorship of people of a certain political persuasion. But then there are other people that were just so extreme that they probably deserve to be moderated by somebody. And now you folded those people back into Roblox. And I think that helped ferment the problem severely, because obviously there's some pockets of the internet that are just horrid. And now you brought those people into Roblox by giving them automatic Roblox accounts, all because you want to turn Guilded into Roblox social networks. I think that, led into a lot of this problem as well.
I totally can see that. anyone else? I am not familiar with Gilded, by the way, but your explanation basically does it very good justice. But let's go to Kai. What do you think about the whole topic and the whole thing that actually they're trying to do? Because they messed up. All right, we all know that they messed up big time with banning this vigilante. So I would like to ask you and the entire panel, what do you think about this? And what would you, if you were in the place of Roblox after this mess up, would do? What would you do as if you were in their position and you needed to fix things and get the people's trust again? That's a question for the whole panel, by the way.
See, that's the issue, is that due to everything that has happened, there's really not a whole lot you can do to fix this kind of situation. I mean, you go after somebody who actively was participating, doing all this stuff to catch these people in the act that's going on their platform. You ban him, calling him stuff like vigilante and all that, and you try to double down on it by essentially protecting the predators, essentially, and now you got all these things going out against you, and you're trying to make these little claims of, oh, we'll just make like this whole entire thing that'll solve everything. No, it's not going to solve anything, because you're not dealing with what the actual main solution is, and it's the fact that you have allow this platform to be so infested with these, I'm not even going to call them people, these creatures to just swarm on your platform. You don't do anything about it, and you're at this point of, now that you got caught with your pants down your leg, you're like, oh, well, we just got to do something, but there's literally nothing that you can do about it. If anything, I would say you just, well, for one, fire the CEO, because he's clearly not doing anything productive. You put like the whole entire thing on like a thing where you basically just shut down the servers and all that until you actually get to the bottom of everything that has progressed up to that point.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good luck with that. Good luck with closing down a game with more users than Steam. On average, yeah. We're literally, and it's unfortunate, but we are literally dealing with an organization that is too big to fail, and I hate
exactly
using that term.
I know, and that's what gets me, is the fact of it's just that whole entire thing of like that saying, too big to fail. And that's where Roblox is. It's just due to how popular it is.
Yeah. And when a company gets there, there's a point of no return. Like, we're just screwed, because they're going to do whatever they want and get away with it, continue to get away with it.
And that is why, all you fine people watching, it's very important to follow these 3 steps. Highlight the problem. Roblox has got a big predator problem, okay? Finding the solution. It's very easy to find solutions to problems. Just do the opposite of the problem, okay? What you're doing now, do the opposite of it. It's as simple as that, and then be the change you want to see. And that's why pressure groups are a thing, and I commend all the creators, whether they're just starting out like myself, or whether they are prominent creators such as Slep. I can never pronounce foreign-sounding names. Those people all add up. They're pieces of the puzzle that will solve this problem. And solving this problem means the downfall of Roblox. Get your kids off this damn thing before a predator comes to knock on your door. What do you think, Dan?
To tell the truth, they need to take full control of where their kids be playing at, because kids get to play any game nowadays. It's not just Roblox. There's plenty of platforms out there where kids actually play and are having contact with these type of people. And the only way for this to get avoided is to have a conversation with your kid and always ask them, who are you talking to? Who are you dealing with? What's your friend's name? Because remember, these type of people, they actually know how to manipulate kids, and kids are very easy to manipulate. So if you actually have a conversation with your child and you let them play games, you always got to set up a time limit of how much or how long they're gonna play a game for. Because remember, they're everywhere. They're in every platform, not just Roblox. You have Fortnite also as well. Predators are everywhere. The only thing is, you just gotta be careful who your child is playing with. If they're playing with their actual friends, cool. Like, Tommy, Tony, whatever the little kids from school, it's different. But other people, it's hard to keep track on that. Yeah, it's not easy. But you have to, like I say, always have a conversation with your child, and always want to do this too. Play the same game they're playing, so you could know. So you could know who are they talking to, and that way, if you find out who is that person, then you have a right to actually, question the company of Roblox.
I think, Dan, that personal responsibility and parental responsibility are absolutely essential, and I would entirely sympathize with Zalozzi's comment in the chat, and I appreciate everyone speaking their minds.
If I had a daughter, I would buy her a knife and a hatchet after what I've seen in Scotland. All right,
damn, man.
Damn, that is critical.
And what a fine way to wrap up that topic. Okay, Scotland is a more dangerous place to be than Roblox. So go ahead, Helzo. What's the next topic?
The next topic, we actually that topic in itself started very well because we can talk about for hours only on that. This is something that, and to wrap this up, the personal responsibility is the thing that needs to come back in terms of parenting, and this is something that is utterly lost for years already. So if we had that, we wouldn't be talking about this at all, because this would have been caught a long time ago. But moving on from this, we have a very interesting topic that I actually know nothing about, because it involves a bank that was dissolved failed.
It's a very convoluted, deep topic, folks, which we could talk about for a whole show. But I'll just let people know, Helzo, so they are aware. Apparently, the Silicon Valley Bank has been raised from the dead as GameStop stock buyout raises suspicions. Now, I haven't been doing this for very long, guys, but it's quite rare that we get into the weeds of finances when covering pop culture, gaming, and wider entertainment, because this should concern people, but it's gonna go way over people's heads. A passionate viewer recommended this to us through the network because, let's face it, folks, the more complex the topic, the more likely people aren't gonna cover it. Now, GameStop has been known, especially in recent years, for their stocks and shares. A certain creator bought a lot of stocks and shares in GameStop, which saved his reputation from the Amico disaster. But to boil it down as simple as I can for everyone here, except Furious Dan, who knows his finances, apparently the Silicon Valley Bank is trying its best through a new LLC to restore itself by buying up certain stocks and shares in reputable companies. This is the same Silicon Valley Bank that helped bankroll a certain political faction, and once it failed in that effort, got blown to bits.
Wait, Digny, before you go forward, one thing I gotta tell you and everybody: reality-based disclaimer. None of this is financial advice. There, we covered our asses.
Oh yeah, that
is very good.
Good job.
Very good input.
You don't want to take financial advice from anyone.
I'm actually getting my financial licenses for my state.
Nice.
So maybe at some point.
I'm not
sorry,
allowed to handle
what was
large
that?
chunks of money anymore.
Damn. Damn. If you scroll down, Helzo, we'll be able to provide
Yes,
some
of course.
context for
One thing
for
that
everyone.
I would like to input, because I did read
Mhm.
a little bit about the collapse of this bank in 2021.
It's so
to
dry, isn't
2023.
it?
Yeah.
It is, but we are talking about billions of dollars
Mm.
and billions of dollars in investments, in liquidations, in stocks, in everything. So this is a rather, just a second, sorry. So I'm gonna start reading the first paragraph, because SVB, which is Silicon Valley Bank Wealth LLC, acquired a new stake in shares at GameStop Corp. In the first quarter, according to the company in its most recent Form 13F with the SEC, the firm acquired 15,000 shares, over 15,000 shares, of company value of approximately $329,000. Now, one thing that you should know about Silicon Valley and the news surrounding it is that it did engage a lot, allegedly, in the implementation of DEI within its ranks. And if there are some people that actually kind of did the whole thing, that this is what caused them to be unsuccessful in the long run, especially after the lockdowns, where they actually started to boom during the lockdowns and they crashed and burned afterwards. So focusing on implementing those things in 2021, 2022, and so forth is what caused them to crash and burn. This is, again, allegedly and a lot of speculation, but the fact is that they did have a lot of that implemented. So they are that centered in that way. And in the important thing is that being centered in that way, being raised from the grave, and buying GameStop stocks can lead to potentially a lot of I'm looking for the word, infiltrations
Oh yeah.
within the GameStop community and further into the gaming community.
Yes.
I know people don't like GameStop, and I can perfectly understand why. But they do have a solid reputation within the zeitgeist, right?
They
Because
fired me
GameStop.
twice. That's why I don't like them. Okay, they fired me
damn.
twice.
Damn. Well, that sounds like an interesting side story.
And they don't
but
treat people right either.
What?
GameStop don't treat people right
That's what I've heard.
at all.
Yeah.
So you
Influence
can
or
expect things to potentially go even worse for them.
Because this is the first step, though, gentlemen, and you know, for all the fine folks in the chat. Because if the Silicon Valley Bank is successful in getting its foot in the door, they'll blast it open, and then they'll restart their efforts all over again, like a certain individual is doing right now. But I will point out right here, right now, you look at all these company names, all these percentages, shares, and all sorts of things. Whoever wrote this or typed this article out, I think, did it to try and suck you out of the story, not suck you into the story. So to boil it down, well, what was that?
I just want to say that I would agree, because the article is written in a way that's actually difficult to read, unless you are potentially a finance expert.
Yeah, it's drier than the Sahara Desert. That's how dry this statement is. And to me, what folks need to understand is this is the foot in the door situation. All the companies, all the stocks, all the shares, all the funds, they're just pieces on the chessboard.
Yeah. And you know, to what you're saying, Digny, the thing is, the money may sound like a dry topic to a lot of people, but you have to pay attention, because that's where everything originates and comes from. That's the ebb and flow of everything going on. If you want to see who controls the agenda in gaming that we don't like, follow the money trail, follow it back to BlackRock, follow it back to, you know, the World Economic Forum and all of these organizations that, you know, are greasing the wheel. You know, USAID, a lot of people noticed that once USAID dropped, a lot of this wokeness went away. Look at the people who are bankrolling Sweet Baby Inc. Look at the people who are bankrolling Anima Interactive. Look at how the EU, you know, put grants of money into Dustborn. All right. You know, you always have to pay attention to what's going on with the money, because it's telling you who has the vested interest in subverting all of the rest of us, even if it seems like it's a little boring. It's a red flag. Silicon Valley Bank, too big to fail. Democrat Party activists, primarily people who the Democrat Party wanted to bail out from, even folding to begin with. You have to watch that. You have to watch that because nothing is free. If the Democrats are going to bail you out, you owe them favors. That favor is influence. That favor is subversion, and then that's how you get things like concord in your life.
Exactly.
Well said.
Doing on this topic, I would like to jump to Roadkill and ask him what do you
Our
think about all of this?
Our
Our
financial expert.
advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to be careful about this because I don't want to sound like I'm coming off as like knowing too much about it. But I do speak with someone that is heavily involved in the purchasing. He has a lot of stocks with GS, with GameStop, but he's doing his sort of cough buy, and that to me means there's a little boost happening, and when that boost happens, look what happened a few years ago with it. Everyone's going to just pull out, bankrupted immediately. GameStop, their CEO, I read something about how he stepped in and is trying to be a little bit more pro gamer rather than pro business. That article, I wish I would have pulled that up, but what that does is that charges a new inspiration for gamers, real gamers that are like, oh shit, it's coming back. This is great. And then boom, they're back at GameStop buying the supplies, doing everything at GameStop instead of other stores. And there's something happening. There's a change in the wind. Silicon Valley with that thing, I don't know. Yeah, I reached out to him specifically on that article. I didn't receive anything back. He runs his own show, so he's busy with that. But I can't wait to hear back from him about this and maybe touch back on this at some point in time, because he's without, I'm not going to drop any names, but I believe he's one of those people that kind of hit it big on the last bust. So and it's something that he's really into and knows about. So when it comes to GameStop, yeah, just be wary, man, because it's gamers are very clever. We're very clever, smart people. No, we don't go out and fucking engineer electronics for the future for Apple. A lot of them do, some of them do, but at the same time, very clever, very they know what to do when it comes to the digital industry. And so I don't know, I was thinking about it. I was talking to the guy and I was like, dude, should I put some money in that? Like is this something that's happening? But nah, I stick to my own, and like anyone listening right now, and like he told me and tells his chat, everyone always do your research financially. Don't sit there on one web page and go, huh, or watch one podcast constantly and go, all right, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Nope. Get in there, get your elbows deep in that shit, and do your own research when you're talking about putting money somewhere, because that's when you fall into these traps. There's traps everywhere. So
let's grease this chicken, Roadkill, by thanking the Gamer Empress for raiding the stream. We appreciate you, lovely lady.
Shout out to the Gamer Empress.
And we are hopefully waiting for you to come to this panel in the future and
cool.
have a very nice conversation and a very nice time with everyone. Thank you very much, Empress.
I'll have to give Helzo the timestamps for at the end of the show so that he can put them in the description. More digestible that way for replay viewers.
But yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. Sorry, I wish I had more. I told Ryan I would, but he didn't get back to me.
That's all right.
But at some point, yeah, this is very interesting to me, because as I'm getting my licenses for the state and doing other things, eventually my next few licenses are going to be around this sort of like, stock shit, and I'm like frightened because I'm like, dude, this is going to be a mess, because economics is what we all know. I think everyone on the panel knows economics is a sham. But you know, you got to make money somehow. But go ahead.
Mhm.
Yes, you do.
No, I think Furious Dan is our economics expert. Dan, could you tell us what VAT is, please?
V8, V8. I have no clue, my brother.
Google that shit quick.
Damn, you want me to Google that quick? Totally forgot what it was about. If I could explain it, but then you guys.
Okay, what is the sales tax, Dan? What's the sales tax?
The sales tax is what you actually get taxed after selling something like that. If I'm not mistaken.
Round of applause for Furious Dan, our
Yeah.
economics expert.
VAT
applause.
isn't that the targeting system on Fallout?
VAT.
No,
Nice.
no.
No, I don't know what it is. but-
Yeah, y'all guys
That's
put me in that corner situation. I can't even explain myself.
Okay.
In any
Did,
ways,
did Kai
back-
give his perspective on this dry chicken topic?
let us hear him, because I was going to say that, because we do need a lot of opinions about that.
Well, that's just my whole thing is that I don't understand anything about the stock market. I don't want to understand anything about it. I think it's evil as hell. The only thing that I got entertainment out of the whole entire GameStop stock thing was the fact that they made a movie off of that whole entire situation when it came out a few years ago.
I'll tell everyone this. Just a brief lowdown on the stock market. The more you buy in, the more the value of it goes up. The more you sell, the more the value goes down. And that's basically how the stock market works.
Mhm.
Simple.
If you ask me, the stock market is like a casino.
Yeah, it's gambling.
The house always
Yeah.
wins.
And also, you got to play it smart because it goes up and down. So it's like this company, and you got to be in on the new companies because you know that's going to go high, sell fast, and it's this constant game. That's why I'm not in it myself. I
You
prefer savings. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
my favorite, two kicks to the dick with the stock market were? My boss likes to trade stock because he's just got a gambling addiction. So I text him because Elon Musk was asking a question about a couple of years ago about, do you think that Twitter helps, support free speech? And he said, there will be consequences to this poll. And the minute Elon Musk posted that, I said, that motherfucker's going to buy Twitter. And I called my boss and like, buy Twitter stock right now. My boss decides not to check his messages for like 8 days and missed when the stock just started just rising like crazy. The other time was I told him to purchase Activision Blizzard stock because I was sure that within 6 months Microsoft would buy Activision Blizzard because that company was pretty much doomed, and then the stock was going to rise up once the purchase was announced. And again, he didn't do it, and then ended up leaving a lot of money on the table. But then he goes and buys stock in a little green company that is very small. And the minute it drops like a few pennies, sells the crap out of it, blames me for losing money, and then it went back up after he sold it because therein lies the stock market.
He's not good at what he's doing.
Yeah, you
gotta
just
let it ride, man. You gotta
paper
let it
have
ride.
to learn to play. You have to
Yeah, you
learn
gotta
to
let it
play.
ride.
He's got
But to
paper
finish
hands.
But to finish this topic, I would say something that is not connected to stock markets and anything on that financial. I would say that with the history of this bank and what it can do, and from what I think Roadkill says, that we're not stupid, or at least we're not stupid and we're not sleeping anymore, I would add, because we're very vigilant, especially content creators of nowadays, especially people like the people we're having on the panel and other creators as well. This is going to be monitored heavily, especially if it becomes a little bit more out there as an popular as a topic, because with the history of this bank, with what potentially might happen, and with what we have seen that is happening with even the most innocent of acquisitions or anything that you wouldn't immediately see something wrong with it. And we have seen a lot of companies go to shit. We have seen a lot of franchises go to shit. We have seen a lot of games go to shit with the seemingly innocent changes that are happening in their studios or in their owners. So this is going to be monitored heavily. And if nothing else, if something is to happen, it's going to be caught very early on, and it's going to be showcased to the wide public. Hopefully here.
That's if they understand how economics works, and most people will probably be like Kai and be like, nah, man, I am parachuting off of this topic like a burning plane.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
speaking
You start out with 100 viewers, and as soon as you give like an economics lesson, they're like, your viewers are going to go to like 5.
honestly, I'm amazed that when we started talking about this topic, our viewership didn't just collapse, because there's no better way to drive an audience away than let's talk about numbers, especially when your audience is American.
And percentages.
Those classes.
Well,
Listen,
there's one number I'd like to talk about. I can't talk about it because we're on YouTube.
numbers will actually
There
drive
are two
you
numbers
nuts,
you can't talk about on YouTube.
right? Crunching.
I can tell you
But-
guys certain numbers I can say on YouTube, and that's 56 minutes and 10 seconds. Take it away,
Yeah,
Helzo.
Like I said, crunchy numbers will drive you fucking nuts.
Are you called Helzo?
I just wanted to say something right away.
Okay.
We're having fun. But to finish off this topic, we are now jumping to something that I think it would be much more interesting. And I would like to ask Dingy to share a clip, not a link, a clip, to see exactly what is happening in the world. And this, I think, might turn into a much larger conversation than it initially is, because it is not an isolated incident.
I'd love to share it, but I'm using the wrong computer.
All right, in this case, allow me. Let me just see
Oh,
if I can,
no.
I can do it. I think I can do it. I can do it. Right?
Well,
I can do anything.
don't show everyone's DMs while you do, okay?
That's what I'm going to try to do.
Those pictures I sent you earlier, those are private. Those are between us.
Really? And here I was going to make really good money out of them.
Okay, guys, why
Okay,
don't you
I think we're going to be okay. Yes, it's showing okay.
Okay.
So you know who this is.
Yes.
Jesus
All
That's
right,
the guy
let's
who threw
just-
the brick at me at Wendy's.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe there was a reason, and the reason was this clip.
Ain't that the
That I'm
cracker
going
from
to
the
pay.
corner in my neighborhood?
I bought a cigarette from that guy yesterday.
I currently don't see
Yeah,
anything
but
because
he
my
had me for
cat is
50
standing
cents,
right
too.
in front of my monitor. I'm going to
Whoever-
play this clip.
Whoever radicalized you people should be deplatformed from YouTube.
Funny you say that. This is a huge oversight.
I was already
Of the person.
radicalized.
Play the damn clip.
Anyway, 55 seconds of a clip. Let's just
It
listen.
was a movie with Buzz Light.
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
Oh, the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's
yeah,
called
with
Lightyear.
Kiki Palmer's in that movie.
Okay,
She
okay.
plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie, like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, it's fuck me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
No, he really said to what he really said to his grandson was shh. I need a career. Be quiet. Shh.
We know the answer to this, man.
Yeah.
It's such thing
Yes,
as
but I would like
grandchildren,
to.
granddaughters, daughters, sons, fathers and mothers. Okay. Fathers and mothers make children. All right. So he knew the answer to that. Him and his little Hollywood
Deplatform
friends-
this transphobic, bigoted homophobe. Yeah.
Here's my
You're
thing.
not in line with YouTube's values, Dan. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
When does Snoop come back as the dignified cartoon rapper?
Basically, yeah. He should come back as a dignified cartoon rapper.
He should, no, if he comes back, it's going to be like a dignified cartoon reggae performer. And
Yeah,
nobody's
the
gonna
Artie
watch
guys.
But
Take a
we
remember
start
that.
off this topic because Diggy is the one who initially shared. I would like to give the stage to him on this one.
I just find it incredible, folks, and this is the name of this topic, just to let you all know. Snoop Dogg faces cancellation in condemning Disney because if you've all noticed regarding this situation, if you step a foot out of line in the entertainment establishment, they will come for you from Snoop Dogg all the way to P. Diddy. You
J.K.
step a foot
Rowling.
wrong, yep, in any way, shape, or form, they'll find a way to do you in. They'll find a way to ruin your career. They'll find a way to wipe you out. And if they can't get to you, they'll get to those close to you or to those around you. But I will make this clear right here, right now, that if we stand together, we will prevail. And it's good to see people sticking by Snoop Dogg because all he wanted to do was watch a family. No, he's not a Roblox user. Watch a movie with his family. Okay, that's all he wanted to do. I have no idea who that is.
You never know now.
But yes, and I would like to before I get the word to someone else, I would just like to add something that I think you can expand upon. When you step out of line in the industry, and actually when it actually reflects what's happening in the real world. We have seen people being canceled. We have seen people being called out on amateur video clips from mobile phones for calling someone the wrong pronouns and stuff like that. We have seen this happening every single day, and not just in one country. And this has become bad. We know the Scottish girl. We know what's happening when you heard the fifis of poor targeted groups and stuff like that, when in reality, and that's what we're here for, that's not how it happens. However, when you have a whole industry of multiple layers and multiple communities, not just Hollywood, you have gaming, you have every bit of pop culture, you have music, every bit of the social communities around the world have still banded around this whole socially correct terms that or activities that you can do. And when you do something like what our Snoop Dogg here did, which in reality he just was like, I am too old for this shit. Why are you showing this to my kids? Why are you doing this? Can we have something that is just not targeted towards? And he has the full right to ask that.
Well, he just wanted to watch a movie. He didn't want his kid
an
asking
animated
questions.
movie.
He didn't want his he didn't want his kid to ask questions because I know his kid's too young.
Here's the thing that you guys are might have glossed over a little bit with Snoop, though, especially, is that with the sort of cult that runs Hollywood, you are given a little bit of leeway as long as you come back to sort of the side of the party. Right. And so that's the thing. This Snoop thing didn't just start with this. This was just the final straw because all the warning shots were ignored. During the 2025 Trump year, Snoop performed at a ball that was celebrating the election victory. And he has said before, I'm trying to find the quote he actually said, which is that for all the hate, I'm going to answer with love and ask people to stop worrying about him. He actually gave Trump his props. This was after a couple of years where he was very hard on Trump because of the fact that he pardoned Lil Wayne. And he was very happy. He was pleased with Trump for doing that. He was very happy with Trump for having done that. Y'all know how this works. If you give Trump any kind of credit for anything, they're mad at you. So he's already had a couple warning shots of, you're not towing the line of the official narrative. You're not being an exact shill like Eminem is, or like Pedro Pascal is, or any of these celebrities. Mark Ruffalo, the guy who plays Hulk, or anything. So this was sort of the final straw that broke the camel's back with Hollywood, with the establishment of, you're going to speak out against this. Now we're going to come after you. Because you've already been warned a couple times not to go that route, not to go that route, not to go that route. And he did it anyway. You're not going to control Snoop Dogg. That's at the end of the day, Snoop Dogg is going to do what Snoop Dogg does, left, right, center.
he already made his billions.
Yeah.
But the thing is that these people, like these Hollywood stars and these
Mhm.
Disney culture war situation, a lot of these Hollywood actors, they want to speak out, but
Mhm.
then again, their careers be on the line, so they stay compromised. But they want to talk, they want to blow up like a volcano and say enough is enough, but they can't
Mhm.
because
He's got
remember,
that
a lot of
FU money.
exactly, they don't want to lose that money. But sooner or later, they're gonna band together. Be like, okay, this is over. It's gonna
Mhm.
get, like I say, this culture war shit with the kids being exposed to this crap of Disney, kids being exposed to this crap of movies that they watch. Let me tell you something right now. These people sooner or later, a lot of these Hollywood actors, I'll be like, you know what? We're gonna have to
Mhm.
make a change on this because knowing that they have family, they want to watch a based movie on a movie theater, and they have to see this, like what
Well, yeah.
like Snoop Dogg
Well,
just saw. It's not normal.
Well, Dan, you know this, and I know this because obviously we're a little bit less white than the rest of y'all. But in Hispanic culture, in Black culture, there is
We are
not
based.
there is not this tolerance for that kind of
Exactly.
thing.
We are based.
I remember 2020. Look, there's a lot of normies out here where I live. I live where they throw bricks at people at Wendy's. All right, and this guy goes.
Same here.
Yeah, I ain't voting for no F word Pete Buttigieg if he wins the primary.
Oh,
Like, there's a
hell
black dude talking out loud on his phone, flat out. You know what the F word was in this case because you know what Buttigieg's preference is. And that's the way that they look at things because, again, you're looking at Snoop Dogg. This is a man who's, 60, 65 years old?
Yep.
There is no way that shit flew in his family growing up. Just straight up.
Exactly.
You want to know something?
Exactly.
Why we are very based on just say blacks and Hispanics are very based, and we really are very, very dynamical with our children, how we teach our kids. It's because when we were raised, and we are raising our kids differently compared to we were raised. When we were raised, we used to get this. Okay? And that shit fucking hurt. And man, not just this. You get a chancla, you get everything. Cuchara caliente. Oh, yeah, everything, bro. The moment we act up, fucked up, and guess what? We turn out to be one of the best people in the world. Based. We turn out to be straight. And we learned from our elderlies. I'll tell you right now.
You were raised
we
Balkan.
respected our elderlies.
There's a reason they don't go to Puerto Rico and they go to Scotland instead because this is what we dual wield over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of these
You
people
can
never had
triple
that.
wield like Zorro.
A lot of people never had that. That's the reason why these people are acting like that. If they would have got what we got when we were young, these people would be nice and straight, based completely. They would be acting like bitches. I'm telling you right now.
You're completely correct. However, and I would like to touch on something before I give the word to Rollkill, is that when you have a whole industry that is pushing you to be something, and it is your job, because we have to remember something, ladies and gents. Being an actor is a job. It is something that pays your bills. It is something that allows you to live the way you do. And it is something that you have to do. And when you're good at it, and we actually turn it into an art form when you innovate, that's when it becomes art. Everything less than you innovating in that field is a job. You're going to a job, you're going to the movie set, and they are the ones that dictate what you're going to do. The only difference is that instead of just having to keep that posture and that attitude at the office where it is a confined environment, your environment is the world because you are a public worker. You do go, you have interviews and stuff like that. And this is one of the things that actually poisoned a lot of the actors to actually believing. This is something that actually happened to, and I'm not going to use her current name, Ellen Page. This is something that has happened to her. And it is something that is happening to other people. But continuing on, Roadkill, I would like to very much hear what you have to say about all this. What do you think about Snoop going like this? Because Snoop is like, I think Jace was saying, like, he's just gonna do what he's gonna do. He's Snoop.
I think he brings up a good point. And he's going to do what he wants to do. And I think in his older age, he's become a little bit more conservative with everything because there's so much weird, like forced change and directions that don't need to be forced. But it's a new narrative and people are making money off it. So like DEI and things, I think he just saw it and was like, And I think it did perturb him a little bit because, yeah, he came across as, I don't want to have to answer that while watching a movie. Great point. Um, I remember a funny story. I remember watching that movie with my daughter, 7 years old, and when that scene came across, we were eating popcorn. And I looked at her and I was like, "Oh, they must have adopted." Like, like immediately, I cut the shit off immediately. Like there was no, I didn't want her to look at it and go, "Wait a minute." Even though at that age she didn't know, I was like, "Nope, I'm gonna get ahead of this because I see what they're doing." And even though I like the movie, um, for what it is and the ending, and kind of we took it as more as like a space travel thing. Anyway, but what Snoop is doing is, I think maybe he's taking a stand. It's risky for someone in his situation because he's so prominent in Hollywood that it's not popular to come out on the other side of things, and that can hurt you. That being said, I know Mark Ruffalo's parents. That's kind of weird. Um, they have a place that we used to vacation, and I ended up meeting them, and I was like, no shit. And I used to like the guy, but there are some people that toe that line, and they toe the line, like we already spoke about. They need to keep their paycheck if they want to stay relevant, and toe that line. But I think what he's doing is he's a grandpa. He's being a grandpa, and he has a really different background. I wouldn't say cool as shit because I wasn't like, I like him. I like his music. Like, that's the term. Like, I don't love what he's done. He was a gross misogynistic his whole music career in the beginning, and then he was like, "Yo, I'm Snoop Lion. I'm just like chilled out." And then that lasted for like 2 years, and then he went back to gangster, and now he's like, "I'm just a grandpa," and I'm like, dude, you've had like 3 different mental breakdowns in your life. Just go go sit in your mansion and shut up. But at the same time, I do like that he is calling that shit out because, as we all know on this panel and in the chat, most of the people watching, hopefully, um, this is something that there's a majority of people that want that ideal pushed. That you can just go get artificially inseminated, hate the other gender, and stop having sex and marriage and families, and just create your own uh, weird situation. Which people do it. I have a gay aunt. I was at her wedding. I have no things against that, but it's putting it in kids stuff.
They're
And
trying to
when Snoop,
normalize it.
yeah, and putting it in kid stuff. Normalizing it for adults. You can look around and go, "Wow, there's a lot of people wearing like rainbow shirts today." But when you're watching a movie with your kid and it's a GPG movie, it's like, "Whoa, dude! Like this, enough is enough." And so I give him a high five on that for saying something at least.
Yeah, he basically reverted to a normal human on that matter.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Kai hasn't said anything about this topic. And Kai, what do you think about that whole situation? And one other thing that I would ask you, and it just came to me, is he going to get grilled to the bone on this?
Yeah, he's going to get grilled about it because, like what you said, it comes to every single celebrity that is out there where if you do not toe the line or don't do everything 100% of what is quote unquote acceptable, they're going to rake you across the coal and everything. I mean, take a look at it a few years ago, back in like 2020 or whenever it was, whenever you had like all the Avengers cast and everything that was going to like some Democratic welcome party thing for Biden before the election and everything, and Chris Pratt didn't show up, and you just had a shit ton of people that just bombasted him saying like, "Oh, he didn't show up because he's a Trump supporter, he's a no good Republican," and all that. What came out a little while later after that, it's like, I just didn't get an invitation. And it's that whole entire thing that never went away. Once these people have like this one thought about somebody, it doesn't matter like what you do, it's going to stick with you no matter what. Another prime example, look at J.K. Rowling. She agrees with pretty much 99% of everything that the left and Democrats are all about. But the one thing that she does not support with the whole trans movement and everything, forget every single other thing that she completely agrees with you about. No, she is evil. She is what's that word that they call them?
Transphobic.
Turf, yeah, trans exclusionary radical feminist. That's it.
Yeah,
Turf.
she is a no good turf. We don't care. We're going to do everything we can to ruin her life. And the thing that I will say is that what other people that do speak out about this, they need to lean into it, just like the way JK does, because she just goes hardcore into like just hitting them back with everything they try using against them. Exactly. One of my all-time favorites of hers was when somebody goes, "J.K. Rowling, how can you sleep at night knowing that you have secluded yourself away from millions of fans, like on top of a lot of money that I make this month?"
Exactly.
I mean, there was a point where J.K. Rowling, there was a meme from our side for years before this trans thing started with her. Read another book, because the only book that the left ever seemed to have read is Harry Potter. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember the read another book meme. And now here they're trying to erase her own name from her own book. There was a guy who was making money selling Harry Potter with her name removed from the books.
It just goes to show how psychotic the opposition mindset is, gentlemen. It's almost as psychotic as what we'll be talking about next, because damn, man, Collective Shout.
Yeah,
they got interviewed.
One thing before we go on, I just bringing up the whole entire thing that Jose brought up was the whole thing of like somebody actively trying to resell the books and everything with the whole different covers without her name on it, and then somebody pointing out saying like, so you can change the outside, but no matter what, the inside's always going to remain the same.
Very, very true.
Yeah, and by the way, she made all her money off of the guy buying the books, and then
exactly.
So it was just all levels of stupid.
It's like those people that will burn a book of like an author or something, and it's like, what do you think about this? It's like, I don't care. You already bought the book. I got your money.
Yeah.
What?
I'm getting the money.
I
don't fucking care. Like it's got a million those. But on that note, I think
the fourth topic, because I think everyone should be aware of this. This is Helzo's topic, folks. So Helzo, the host should recommend a topic or two. It's his show, after all.
Yeah, usually that's how it works.
Yeah, usually. Jack Connor interviews Collective Shout. Well, that must have been a very smelly room, as censorship effort ramps up. So take it away, Helzo.
I stumbled upon this because we are actually in the midst of someone directly speaking to that whole group and getting a lot of answers. One thing that I'm going to say from reading all of this and actually trying to determine if I actually progressed through the interview or I was just stuck in the same place for some reason, because if nothing else, I would give Collective Shout one small prop. They're consistent in their bullshit. They're absolutely they don't fold. They don't go, yeah, I was doing that, but it's actually I'm not doing that. I don't care about it. They are consistent in their bullshit. So we have a TLDR actually from Jack Connor. This is from Tweaktown. So he says, TLDR, Collective Shout's campaign led payment processes Visa and MasterCard to pressure Steam into removing adult games depicting sexual violence against women, highlighting ethical concerns over glorifying abuse. This shift enforces stricter content policies aiming to protect women from harmful media while sparking debate on censorship and platform responsibility. Before we continue, I just want to point out that the games that they're talking about were extremely niche. They were never ever popular in almost any capacity. Like they did exist, but they weren't like bestsellers or anything by a long shot. And what made them famous was actually the attempts to block them and the successful attempts to block them. So thank you for popularizing something that you want to remove. We continue. Nobody has a human right to simulate and enact fantasies of rape and extreme violence against women. This is the whole trope that is going on throughout the entire interview, by the way. This is the main, like, you're going to see a lot of it when we go through it. If you go to the article as well. One Caitlin Roper, the campaigns manager at Collective Shout, explained in a recent email interview, not being able to access rape games from popular gaming platforms is a minor inconvenience, not a violation of a person's rights. Payment processors get to determine if they do not want to host illegal content, including rape, sexual violence, incest, child sexual abuse, and exploitation, and shit. And just to say, for YouTube, this is a public article, and I'm just reading off of it. So whatever words I say, they are already written in a public domain, freely accessible. So,
Helzo, imagine Game of Thrones made today. Every season would be season 8.
Yes, every season would be the bloopers from season 8. But
remember, it's Daenerys' turn, just like it was Hillary Clinton's turn.
Oh god.
Yeah. I'm going to give away to the panelists. I think we could start with Jace here on this. This is TLDR, but trust me, it basically explains everything that is going on through the interview. What were you saying?
What bothers me about this whole Collective Shout situation is the fact that for people that I know you said, at least, give them props, they're consistent, but I have to sort of be the dissenting opinion on consistency, because if they had consistency, they would come after Roblox. If they had consistency, they would go after Take Us North, a game about smuggling people to the USA, when they know that one of the things that's smuggled in this country are primarily women for the purpose of human trafficking. But they don't want to have that discussion. It's like, it seems to me like they don't want to go after anything that actually does hurt the people that they claim that they're trying to protect. They only want to go after, like you said, small developers. And the reason that there's this almost war on independent developers, whether you agree with their, the questionability of the content or not, is because of the fact that if small, everybody was a small developer at some point. AAA wants to create a glass ceiling. AAA is awful. It is inundated with the woke mind virus. They can't allow these larger independent developers to basically come up, in any capacity. So, some of the games might be controversial. Yeah, you know what? Grand Theft Auto was controversial when it was new. All right. So these people are trying to, let's bully Visa and MasterCard to not take money, to purchase these games. It's ridiculous. But again, where's Collective Shout to talk about Roblox? Where are they to talk about anything controversial that is sort of, borderline on that note? I mean, there are games where there was one game a couple of years ago that was an independent game where you play as a trans person and kill MAGA supporters. All right. They didn't go after that, but that's calling for real world violence that we're seeing reflected in the real world when we see things like we saw last week in Minnesota, where there was a shooter of a certain group of people that took out people of a certain religion. But they don't talk about that. Collective Shout are insanely hypocritical. And it seems like their only purpose is to go after specific games, specific companies, specific people, specific groups on the internet that are talking that they don't like what they have to say, and shut us down, shut people like us down. And so, again, it all boils back to, follow the money, which, when we go back to that boring, dry topic, follow the money. Who's bankrolling Collective Shout at the end of the day? That's what we need to be, focused on. But these people, I mean, they're not going to stop because they're just sort of the sweet baby. They're the big bad of the year 2025. Last year was Sweet Baby. This year it's Collective Shout. Next year it'll be some other psychotic activist organization trying to come to censor us on the internet, to shut down the games we play, to go after everything that they can that they don't like, and force us to consume the slop. Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter what a Collective Shout does, you will never force us to consume the slop, all right? Because we have this thing called free will. And I know that's a problem for Collective Shout and a lot of these other companies, but that's you know what? There's two words I can say to that, and that's tough shit.
Well, Helzo makes a great point. in regards to the TLDR. It
Yeah.
really boils down this whole interview, because
Yeah.
who wants to spend nearly 11 minutes reading?
Yeah.
That would actually be a very good clip for a video, getting Furious Dan to read this whole article. But
Believe
Jose
me,
is,
I think if I read that whole article,
Well,
it will just piss me off even more than that is.
exactly.
It will. It did piss me off. I would just want to, before we continue, I would just want to say something to Jose. That's why I emphasize they're consistent in their bullshit.
Yeah, that's
They're
true,
not
that's true.
consistent in anything else, because this thing
Yeah.
and this thing is
Yeah.
everything that has been answered to every question that
Yeah.
Jack Connor says. This is the trope. They stuck to the trope, so they're consistent in the bullshit. But I absolutely agree with everything that you said on the topic. But let's move on.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick on that though, Helzo. The thing that's sad about that answer is it's a mantra for normies, for people who don't do their homework. And that's
Exactly.
why it's
It
so
is.
important that we have these conversations on shows like this, because a lot of people will just take them at face value and assume that every game just has what they say is in it.
Well,
I think
just
that the
what-
normies need to change. The normies, the definition of a normie needs to change, or the normies need to go away. I
They're
mean,
plugged in.
we need to remove normies, and we need to make everyone more than a normie, in my opinion.
Exactly.
They're the plugged. There's a new name for
Yes.
a normie. Someone who's
There you go.
plugged.
Look, yeah, absolutely correct.
Butt plugged.
Absolutely, I would agree with that notion, because you do have it's not exactly brainwashed, but unaware of the truth that is going on in the world.
And
Well,
that could be
Jose-
that
even
note-
more dangerous.
Well,
is
yes.
just be completely unaware about it. The whole thing.
Well, Jose made another great point about how the opposition are adapting, it seems, year on year with, you know, the latest witch to burn, for lack of a better statement. And that's why it's very important for content creators and creator communities to constantly adapt, evolve, improve, bring new people in, get established creators to start their own groups and to continue expanding. And that's what the network is all about, folks. And that's our effort, because the 3 steps to victory do work. Highlight the problem, find solutions, be the change you want to see. And the plus side of all of that is the people who host the show get nice donations, like Dash.
This one, thank you, Dash, or as I see it, Rasengan 9000 TTT. Because
I don't know.
thank you, YouTube.
I don't know why he has that as his
Dash,
Name
you can
Dash.
easily go in there and change your
That-
at handle.
I mean,
Crying
that-
out loud.
that
Dash
profile
attack has
pic-
not been taken. It hasn't.
I think it's just because of people like me who were marked by YouTube to see the ads and be perpetually confused. But thank you for the 2 saying 80+ games can no longer be early access on Steam. Yep. And we're talking about all 18+ games, by the way. We're not talking about what Collective Shout is trying to shove down our throats. We're talking about adult games. And like it or not, adult games exist. Adult games are a thing. There are adults that like to play adult games. You might not like them. You might not enjoy them. You might not even like people who enjoy them. But they're a perfectly legal thing to have, to develop, to own. We have played a lot of games, and I heard Grand Theft Auto and a lot of other games. We had Postal, Carmageddon in the days before that are much, much worse than what we have now. And they're perfectly legal. Know why? Because people actually had the common sense to know what they're playing and to not be influenced by what they're playing in the real life, despite what the fucking media is telling you for over 30 years now, ever since video games actually started being more of a thing. And on that note, thank you, Roadkill, for another 5 taxes.
I
These
just
are
love the
my
fact-
taxes that I'm gonna pay. Thank you for
I-
covering my taxes, Roadkill.
Well,
Amazing. And I
Roadkill,
actually
what-
now realize that I'm
Well-
actually hiding you
Well,
with your
Roadkill.
own donation.
Pay your goddamn tax.
Paul
Hell-
Roadkill,
Your goddamn taxes.
Helzo, I just want to make it clear. I love it when Americans pay tax to Europeans. It's just like old times.
But you gotta understand one thing, bro. Because you did this shit wrong. You should have paid him in taco money.
You know, Dan, I think you're a poor because you're not matching Roadkill's donations.
What do you expect? What the?
I mean, I'm a
donate-
poor.
So donate another $4.99. It's for
I
the
don't know
cause.
what you're talking about. We have a flat tax here. It's the same everywhere. So I'm
Yeah.
perfectly amazed when I see and when I read that taxes in the same country in different states or even different cities is different. And it's perpetually confusing to me. How can anyone function even remotely normally with that thing?
I remember when my country burned itself to the ground over proposing a flat tax. And
Well, we didn't have a
It's
country
an
to begin
inside
with, so
joke
that-
between Ryan and I, because Ryan one time made the joke that, you know, even if you're nobody, you can just pay your way onto the show. And I was like,
that is actually sound advice for anyone who's thinking of being a content creator.
and I didn't mean to. I was just a donator and supporter, and then they were like, "You want to come on?" I was like,
Digny's
"Yeah, sure."
about to get the call.
A call from my operations manager. Don't tell them the secrets. Damn.
All right. Let me just pass the ball here. Who would like to take over and say their piece? Digny?
Well, I just wanted to echo what Jose said because he hit the nail right on the head. I made the Game of Thrones reference because I absolutely love that show, at least the first 5 seasons of it. And could you imagine that? And I know there have been attempts to make it into a game, and most of them have failed. But could you imagine if they made a Game of Thrones game today, which it would have to have all of these things that you can see on the screen? I mean, the instrumental element that caused the whole Game of Thrones was the incestuous relationship between Cersei and Jaime Lannister, right? If it wasn't for their relationship, the kiddo Bran or Bronn, one of those, wouldn't have been pushed down the castle to his near death, and the whole Game of Thrones wouldn't have begun in nearly the same way. I think that's why it's absolutely essential, ladies and gentlemen, that there shouldn't be a place for censorship, and we should let the people decide what they want and what they don't want. If they want this stuff in their games, great. And if there's another subset of gaming that doesn't want this in their games, then we don't have it in gaming. That's the sort of thing.
It should be a choice. What we want and what we don't want.
Yes.
You know, we're the adults. We made the decisions. We buy what we buy. If we don't like it, we return it. If we see something that we don't like, we don't buy it.
That is all connected to the UK, like with the Child Safety Act, and that all of these are connected. All of these are one big net that is operating simultaneously to impose global censoring.
Yeah, and we don't need these activists controlling the narratives of what we do. We're adults. We know exactly what education is. These people don't. These people are not educated. They're ideology. What they call it? Ideology.
Ideologues.
There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting, Dan, that you mentioned that we're all educated, but you don't know how to say ideologue. Kai,
it's just hard to pronounce this shit. That's the reason why I get too excited pronouncing shit.
Well, don't worry, Dan. Helzo is not an English first speaker. Jose isn't. Dan isn't. So I understand. Second language.
I actually learned English first, and my Spanish is less than my English. Believe it or not.
So you did it backwards. Kai, what do you make of all this?
It's just the whole entire thing of, like how Helzo was saying, that they're consistent with the bullshit that they keep on spewing out, but it's also the fact that you're also very selective on like what it is that you want to be offended about, because it's like you go in after the Visa and MasterCard telling them that you need to make sure like all this stuff doesn't get processed through and all that. And then they're making their whole entire claims on how it's damaging to the brand. But then they're perfectly fine with whatever that little rapper that just turned 18 decided to open up an OnlyFans the moment she turns 18.
Yeah,
they're perfectly
that's
fine with
little
that
Tay.
shit.
Yeah,
Little Tay.
Tay, yeah.
It's just like you, like I said, you're only very selective with what it is that you feel like you want to be offended about, but in actuality, you don't believe in anything that you're trying to spew out. It's like you're just wanting control. That's all it is. They just want control.
If I may, just for a minute, before I pass to Roadkill. The thing is that, yeah, she turned, like with Lotte, she turned 18, but she's still doing stuff that a lot of people would consider stupid.
Yeah.
Or idiotic. Which basically showcase that even though you're an adult, you can still be a dumbass. So, and that's basically, you can follow the wheel or the thread. You have people that are being raised to be basically subpar in terms of at least emotional intelligence. Then you go and say that you need to protect children and you need to protect people and you need also to protect adults because adults have apparently, even though they're adults and they're legal and they can do pretty much everything, they have no impulse control, and that's why you're banning dangerous games. Because apparently, from the collective shout's perspective, if you play an adult sexual game, you immediately become a sexual predator. That is their supposed mindset. And I think each and every one of us has played games that are violent in their lives at a certain level. You can turn to Monopoly. You understand, or Uno, or whatever, or any video game. But we have turned out okay, which defeats the purpose. But they're trying to shove that purpose, and the thread is going that you're raising adults that have no impulse control. They do stupid things, and that gives power to companies like this to present their vile case. That's all I'm going to say about the matter, because it is all connected when you look at it. It is something that has been happening for a long time, in my opinion, and it's now just coming into fruition.
You know what I think started this collective shout thing? I think ultimately one of these women who probably does have a child somewhere probably saw her son play Grand Theft Auto and then caught him, cranking it to the load screen in a sock like a couple hours later. It's like, oh no, now I'm on a crusade. Like they do seem to take it very personally.
First of all, it's her fucking fault.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
They
her
don't want to
fault.
be parents, like we said with Roblox.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's her fault. These parents, let me tell you something right now. When I used to buy massive video games from GameStop, right? I used to go to GameStop all the time for the hottest titles. I walked in there and I saw a mom, a mother, and then later complained about it, but a mother buy a Grand Theft Auto 5 when it first came out to a child that was fucking 5 to 6 years old. Whose fault is it? The fucking bitch.
Yo, Dan, I
Exactly.
got one for you on that. I used to work at Toys R Us in the video game section, and GTA San Andreas came out.
Yeah.
And this guy walks up to buy the game for his 8-year-old son. And I said, you do realize if you turn this around, this game has this. You can commit crimes. You can, there's partial nudity, there's strip clubs, all this stuff. Like, I don't care. My son wants it. Right. I said, just so you know, once you open this game, you can't return it. So I've given you fair warning. Dude comes back 2 hours later, pops the game on the desk at customer service. Why are you returning the game? I can't have this. The content is inappropriate for my son. I said, did I not tell you 2 hours ago not to buy this game? And he says, well, what am I supposed to do with it? I said, well, you're old enough to play it, so I guess you're a gamer now.
And the thing is, these people, like the parents out there, they don't play games, so they don't even know what they're buying for their kids.
Exactly.
But if you get to educate yourself on what you're buying and what they play, you will never have that problem of purchasing that game for your kid.
Right.
And the problem is, it's the parents' fault. A lot of these parents, like, that we are talking about, oh, I don't play video games. Okay, fine. You don't have to play video games, but at least educate yourself about it and,
Yep.
and learn how to and learn what you're gonna buy for your son next. If your son wants Mario and it's an innocent game and you know everything about Mario, it's okay for your son to play it. But if you have to know other games too. If you want, oh, I want this game. This, this game turned out to be, sexual explicit content, adult content. And guess what? You buy the game, you see your son playing it. Oh, now you're gonna complain about it. And then you want to complain to the developers that made it, and this you want to make a cult about it to make a ban for it.
Parents,
and that is why,
game trailer.
That is why old school gamer parents are going to be the best forever. But before we move to the final topic, Roadkill, what are your thoughts on the absolutely amazing collective Karen shout that I would love to call them from now on?
I personally know a few in real life. I'm not friends with them, but I have to put up with them thanks to my my kids being friends with their kids. But it's like Ryan, I think, mentioned earlier. No, Ryan's not here. I was talking about. I meant to say Dan, but it was probably Digny. But was saying earlier about once you cut something off, it's going to be like a fungus. It's just going to keep growing. So. Collective shout is not going anywhere.
How dare you compare Dan to a fungus, Roadkill? How dare you?
Do I look like
Thank
that?
you.
Do I look like a fucking mushroom from the Mario?
I didn't
you
mean
look
to,
like
dude.
a
Look, I misspoke. All right, smack me in my face. And
Correct yourself.
and so I think all it comes down to is like Jace was just saying, Jose was just saying, is it comes down to being a parent. Nowadays, you have no excuse. This isn't 1991 where your parents bought you Mortal Kombat, or 92, 93, and they're like, oh, whoa, okay, there's blood in this, I don't like it. This is long after that, and they have the ability to text or call their friends at that time for maybe San Andreas, text their friends. They definitely had Google at that time, and just kind of look up this stuff before your kid comes home and is like, I want this. It's like, okay, all right. Now, understand that as a parent, you have to realize that whatever's going on in their culture at that time is not yours. So you have to be a parent and look into it, just like I had to find out what the fuck skibbity toilet meant. Like you have to, you have to be a fucking parent, dude.
No,
like you have
don't
to
mention that.
I'm sorry, but I'm saying when I first heard that, I was like, what is this shit? And so I went to go look into it myself. I didn't just sit there and go, huh, kids. Or just buy them a game and throw them in the room by themselves. I don't know. My parents weren't that vigilant on it because they thought video games were what they grew up with, Pong, the Vectrex and things like that. But I was sitting there playing Baldur's Gate, Vice City in my teenage years. But I knew, I don't know. We come from a different time where video games didn't affect us that much. I didn't like these kids nowadays. They're growing up on multiplayer. You got headsets on. You're talking to people from all around the world. They're saying awful things to one another. When I stepped into that realm in my 20s, I was like, okay, I hope there's not kids in here. Next thing you know, I'm fighting with a 10-year-old, and his mom his mom comes in the room and she's like, dinner, hun, and he's like, not right now. And I was like, dude, how old are you? And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
You're one of the Roblox predators.
I know, right? That's what it felt like, bro. That's what it felt like. Like as soon as you could hear the kid's voice, but you're like, all right, whatever. Maybe he's mature. Maybe he's he's playing the game well. He's doing well. But no, it was like after that, like it was an immediate response, mentally, not physiologically, but mentally of, all right, this is not cool. And if the kids want to take over that platform, go ahead, go be kids, go have fun, go play with sticks in the woods. But for with the collective shout thing, I think that they're no matter, just like with the Roblox thing, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a way around it. There's always going to be some sort of funding or support for the other side, and should they all die and burn in hell? Some of them, I'm not going to be a complete asshole, but I think what they're doing is just they're hating on something they don't even understand, and a lot of them, not all of them. There's a few in the front seat driving, a couple of them, but the rest are like, yeah, they're just rabble rousers. That's what we call them. It's just a bunch of, sign carrying. This is what I believe in. Do you really believe in that? Because have you looked into it? Just, yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to
Yeah,
shut
it's
up.
not.
I
It's
yield, I
not
yield my time to
1990.
Furious
do not
Dan.
understand anything
it's not-
about gaming.
Well, it's
What's
not
that?
1994 anymore.
Right.
We don't need another ESRB that will destroy our rights. Now, folks, we try to keep these shows at about 2 hours. We do have another topic lined up. However, if we want everyone to get their perspective on it, we could well go into overtime, and I mean like half an hour. So
If
I'll
you're
let the host
everyone,
decide.
okay, I would love to get on that topic. This is a topic that was brought by Jace, uh, and I would have him take away. I have no issues on that, and I would very much think that it is okay to cover it because it's once again something that showcases our power as gamers and as a voice, as people, ordinary
Well,
people.
Well, I'll tell everyone what the topic is. 3.5 game developer laziness explored as Call of Slop slashes games size. So take it away, Jose.
All right, so I saw this earlier today that Call of Duty is bringing out an update to lower the file size of their games, and this is something that, as a gamer, especially as a PC gamer, bothers me because of the fact that a lot of the newer games, they tend to be unwieldy in terms of how big they are. All right, so the next update for COD on PS5 is going to reduce the game by about 101 gigabytes. So it's going to go from 126 gigabytes down to 25 in a single update. And this is, partially because of the fact that Battlefield is doing things to prevent, having these gigantic file sizes. But one thing I've noticed is as the game quality gets worse, the file sizes seem to go up. I think about like Starfield, which sort of ushered in this era of games well over 100 gigabytes. You see like Final Fantasy 16, not particularly a well-received game, well over 100 gigabytes. Tekken 8 is not really the most optimized game in the world. It's well over like 80, 90 gigabytes. Call of Duty has gone over 120 gigabytes. But then, like, if you look at these Japanese titles, these Japanese JRPGs, which primarily is what I play, and I'm not talking about like ones as low as like Octopath Traveler, I'm talking about just an average game, with decent graphics, and they're about like 30, 40 gigabytes. You look at Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I think it's clocked in about maybe 40 gigabyte. Why is it that along with the slop that they're giving us, DEI, ESG, Warzone, we know is notorious for things like gay and trans bullets during Pride Month, which don't even get me started on that. This is what their focus is. Instead of making the game small enough that it's not eating up, a large portion of your hard drive, because not everybody has the money to go out and buy a 4 terabyte SSD, NVMe or whatever they're getting. So this is causing a lot of people to have to either run out of space, delete a bunch of games that they're trying to store on their system, or something of that nature. And in this day and age, deleting a game is almost a death sentence because that game might get delisted by Steam, and then goodbye, you'll never see it again.
And the thing is, I know why they're doing that.
Yeah.
And I have played, and I'm a Call of Duty player, but I think I'm not gonna buy this one because I call it the communist update. The reason why I call it the communist update is because these people, when they want to use a terabyte, that's a fucking terabyte of hard drive. It's like you buy a 2 terabyte hard drive. But the reason why it's taking all that space in file size because all that garbage DLC content they throw it in there. All these fucking, what they call it, skins and fake ass guns and all that shit they throw it in there. It's because that's taking the size of the file of the game.
Add like 4K and ray tracing and all this. And if your computer is just a mid-range PC, you're not going to run it at maximum settings. So why am I wasting time having that in my PC?
That's why they needed it.
Yeah,
make it an option.
Yeah, and they're like, screw you. Get an NVIDIA 5 card. Get a 5 series card. Otherwise, cry more, peasant. And that's not good for the customer, because a paying customer, you want to be able to play a game. You may not have the money or the time or inclination to buy a top of the line gaming PC, or you may not want to buy an $800, $900 console, which you have to spend just about upwards of for the PS5, PS5 Pro. they're making it, they're trying to make it more of a pain in the ass for just the average person to play these games. And this is why, instead of go forward, I delve into my backlog. Look, I've got 130 plus games over the past 25, 30 years that I haven't finished yet. I'm fine with that. It keeps me insulated from the slop. It keeps me insulated from these insane file sizes. What was it? MK1, I think, was another one that was well over 100 gigabytes. And again, you're not paying for quality games. You're paying for games that at this point, in some way, are flat out disrespecting you. Aside from the file size, all this is that they don't want to optimize the game. If you can optimize the game, you can spend a little time tweaking the game, optimizing the game, making sure that it runs just as smoothly at a smaller file size. But they don't want to do that. They just want to, just shit it out and get it on your hard drive and make it your. No, it's your problem. It's not our problem. It's your problem. And this is part of that repugnant, sort of mindset of modern games developers.
And the thing is, the game is fucking broken regardless anyway.
It's I would like to add a topic on that. I would like to add a question on all of that.
Internet always fucking going away. That's one. Always freezing. We gotta restart the freaking game. It's a lot with Call of Duty. Call of Duty, it's for me. That's the reason why I stopped buying it.
The host has a question for you, Dan. I think you should listen.
Dan, I have a follow-up question for you.
Sorry about that.
So, do you think that what they're doing is actually going to be profitable? And one thing, do you think that if this is profitable, more games would actually engage in that? Because there was a very good thing said by Jace. Like you're having and you said as well, you're having way too many games that are too large right now. You don't need that large games, and the majority of that space taken from the games is to make it look pretty. We have seen that in terms of gameplay, in terms of movement, in terms of storyline, in terms of even cutscenes, we have seen some very, very huge letdowns recently. However, you see every individual strand of hair in the nostrils of the main character move in their own separate direction while also singing La Cucaracha.
Hey, look, so, Red Dead Redemption likes their horse testicles, man.
Exactly.
Jiggle physics.
The thing is, jiggle physics are important. Never take away jiggle physics. Would you support if this actually endeavor? Although I do believe that it's not addressing an issue with Call of Duty, even though I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time, I do kind of have an idea what's going on. Do you think that this is actually going to be a start of fixing the main issues with the game? And do you think, and that's a question, those are questions for the whole panelists, do you think that more games would take after that, especially if it's successful?
Furious Dan, did you understand any part of any of those questions?
Yeah, I did understand that. But I'm just thinking, like, would it be successful?
Okay.
Would it be successful afterwards? Maybe or maybe not. So it all depends. It all depends on the sale also as well, because everything sells by the name. No. Everything sells by the name. You may look at the name of the game.
Well, I think I could answer the question, because a well-optimized game would likely not have technical issues. And I think a lot of the problems from a technical aspect would be solved in our space with proper optimization. Hey, if it takes a few months to turn 125 into 25 for the PS5, or from 81 to 62, I think 60 is the limit. Right, a 60 gigabyte game should be the limit for me. If it takes a few months to reduce the size to optimize it correctly, then that should justify a delay in release, because that is an important aspect.
And I think that is one of the things, Digny, you just touched on. I mean, Bethesda sort of started this, about well over a decade ago by releasing what I call an unfinished game, where quality assurance is essentially an afterthought. It's dead. And that's one of the major perils of the always online sort of ability of these systems is, oh, well, we're going to release this broken, but we'll just patch it later, which was sort of, even in Skyrim, there was a point in the game I remember where I couldn't play the game for like a week because I had to wait for a patch, because specifically whatever I was doing, there was a certain thing, a certain quest that just froze the whole game. And it's just
Well,
like, how can you could never get away with that in the cartridge era? You just couldn't, or the CD era.
I personally think that if Xbox hadn't have delayed Starfield because they were planning on that 11/11, what was it, 2022 release, I think. If they had released Starfield then, it would have been 200 gigabytes and it would have been another Fallout 76, which would have killed the company. So there is a place for delaying games, and I think Starfield, as boring as it is, would have been a far better release game if it was delayed again, optimized better, and if you're going to have loading screens, have them in and out in a second flat. Right? In a second, at a second, and do it that way.
And look at this with Cyberpunk. When Cyberpunk first came out, how long did it took to make that game? And then when they released it, it was complete. It was like totally broken. Even though the game looked nice, looks fantastic, but it was totally broken. So it looks like they took really time to finish tweaking it. If they would have finished tweaking it, that game would have been great at the beginning. But the problem is that it was left broken, and a lot of people was like giving refunds back, including on consoles and stuff like that.
From what we've seen, Dan, Cyberpunk 2077 to be the great game that it was promised, should have, in my view, been delayed for another 5 years.
Exactly.
Where we are today.
But this is what the conglomerate does. This is what the push to have things come out
quickly
and to be always at the head of the curve and to always innovate. And I think, and this is something that you can all look at in 2025 as to what the successful games of this year so far have been. We have had Expedition 33, which is a beautiful game, but you can understand that it was made by a much smaller team. We have a game like Schedule 1, which was made by a single person, probably. And when you take these two games, there are two distinct things that are popping up. And those things should be the forefront of every game. It's fun. And in the case of Expedition 33, it's immersive storyline. So these games basically showcase what games should be. And it showcases that even if you have graphics like Schedule 1, you can still have a very successful game because the game is fucking fun to play. It doesn't need to have your dingleberries showcased in 4K. It needs to be fun. It needs to have relatable characters. It needs to have that effect on your psyche. And that is something that was very much forgotten up until this year by almost all of the companies. Yes, we did have great games in the previous year, but this 2025, and I'm calling it right now, is the revitalization year of good games, because we have had a lot of good games so far. We have had shit games, but they were buried, and they were buried by gamers. They were not buried by companies. They were not buried by magazines. They were buried by gamers. And what's happening with Call of Duty is that they're trying, in my opinion, to adjust to the voice that gamers have, and they're trying to do something, but again, they're not really addressing the right issues, in my opinion, because from what I've read, the issues with the game was not the size of the game, but it was something connected to what you're receiving from the size.
Well, it reinforces my theory that a better and more optimized game that's more efficient and more condensed, which is what the PS5 update for sure has done, leads me to believe that it's justifiable to have a delay in releasing a game so it can be as optimized as possible. And I think, especially for Sony, because Sony ponies, they love generation-based games. So it would make more sense to just have it just for the PS5. I know commercially it doesn't make much sense. That's why they have it on the PS4 as well. But it's clear that Call of Duty game was made for the PS5, and it had been delayed for a few weeks or a few months. It wouldn't have released with 125 gigabyte install. It would have been 25 gigabytes and more people would have been likely to buy it. It would be quicker to install, and it would be more likely people would play the game and enjoy it on that platform. So it's just a question of be patient. If Cyberpunk 2077 had been released in 2025, not just the base game, but with Phantom Liberty just included, not even as a DLC, just included, and have it as this is our game of a generation. Yes, it took 15 years, but here's our game of a generation. It's well optimized, it's very good, it's packed to the brim with features. Enjoy it for $60. It would have been Game of the Year 2025. I honestly, considering all the great games we've had this year, I think that if Cyberpunk 2077 would be released as it is today in 2025, early 2025, it would have gotten Game of the Year and had been celebrated as one of the greatest games in the 21st century. But
It'd have been a fucking banger.
I would
Yeah.
agree with it.
it didn't
Well,
get
go for it. I see something hanging from your ear, but go for it. What do you think about the Call of Duty situation?
I keep one of my earbuds out. Sorry.
Nothing is missed here.
I'm sorry. What's the question on this?
How much do you love gay people?
Exactly.
Oh, I love all the gay people.
Including Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I love
I don't
tacos.
go that way,
and,
Taco Man. So
well,
you can just,
Dan works on my taco truck, so we work well together. So
Is taco a euphemism for something?
no, I don't know why they call me that. I don't know why
Hopefully.
Dan calls me that. I just roll with it.
The question is, Roadkill, game developer laziness explored as Call of Slop
That's right.
slashes game size.
Thank you. Okay, sometimes I need to be reminded because it goes a little sideways, and I'm like, okay, we're talking about that. I think it's a good thing that they're starting to optimize, but like we all know, and we all have just talked about, is why the fuck didn't you just do this in the first place? Why did you put me through this stress? And like when I download something on one of my devices, whenever I go to a new game, I can't wait for. I'm so pumped. I'm like, oh shit! I start biting my fingers, and I'm like, how big is this going to be, and what am I going to have to delete? Because I don't really want to take apart my device and add a new SSD card to it because I don't want to delete anything.
Well, Roadkill, what most people don't understand is, especially with Expedition 33, is that it could have come out as early as late 2021 because it was originally built on the Unreal Engine 4, and then the decision was taken as the Unreal Engine 5 debuted, is that we're going to essentially rebuild this entire game because it was supposed to be Act 1. There was no Verso as a character. It was Act 1 until defeating the Paintress, and that would have ended the game. Right? Released in late 2021, most likely November or Christmas, using the Unreal Engine 4. It's a lot more cartoony looking because that's what that engine is very good for. But the people at Sandfall decided, no, we're going to effectively rebuild this game from the ground up and spend 3.5 years expanding the game, expanding the story into 3 acts with the main character, Gustav, essentially being killed off because he was supposed to be the main character originally.
Spoilers!
And sorry, folks, I'm new to this. And then, essentially, they created, in a sense, a trilogy in a game utilizing the Unreal Engine 5. And they actually did a pretty good job optimizing the game. So,
And that's amazing. And I think what it is see it for what it is that back in 2021, did anyone was anyone hyped for Expedition 33? I don't remember hearing anything.
Knew about Expedition.
No one knew it.
Exactly. That's why they got to take their time. These other companies, they're like, hey, it's coming next year. It's going to be the newest, greatest thing. And these companies are like, all right, hurry up and get it out there. And there's no time to, there's no quality. There's no time to take your time, you know.
Well, that's why, guys, E33, as I call it, has so much depth because it was supposed to be a very simple, basic game that took 2 years to make, in and out, great first project for an indie company. But they saw an opportunity and spent 3.5 years entirely rebuilding the project, putting so much depth into it. They poured their souls into that game. A trilogy, practically every act in itself is a game. They poured a trilogy into that game. And that's why the ideas for, what's future plans for the Claire Obscure franchise? I honestly believe the original plan was for Expedition 33 to be the first game where you kill the Paintress. The second game was to basically the whole world unravels and then you find out the whole world's simulation. And then the third game is, do you save the canvas or destroy it? But they poured so much of themselves in that they bottled up a trilogy into a game. And now they've realized this is so much of a success and we don't know what the fuck to do from here. So we're going to pull a Final Fantasy and create an anthology series. And they'll have to try and create an original story now to rival this. And that is why I say to people, I'll say to people right here, there is such a thing as doing too well.
Yeah. I mean, again, bear in mind that they also are already getting hit with the, hey, let's make a movie of this. And I said, well, enjoy that. Honestly. Enjoy turning the redhead girl into Zendaya. Enjoy that, because you know that's coming.
This is going to be a disaster, but that is a topic that I would very much like to discuss when details come. And details, by the way, if rumors are true, are going to come a little bit before Christmas. There is going to be development on that, and we still don't know if it's going to be a movie or a TV series. But I before I pass the ball to Kai to say his piece on this final topic, I want to address what Digny said. Making games should be a passion. This is what making any sort of art should be. Making music, making movies, making writing a book, making a game. And Expedition 33 is so successful because it is that. It is it is a true passion project. There is no forced inserts there. There is no pandering to a certain group. There is no going right or left. There is nothing. Roadkill, you have to.
Oh, sorry, I was waving to Empress. I saw her message pop up. She was saying goodnight, and I was just waving.
All right.
No.
All
if I have a question, I'll raise my hand. But
no, because I was like, is he going?
Don't raise your hand too much. I've rebranded the show twice already. I don't want to make it a third time.
Oh boy, yeah. If you go out at that 45-degree angle, we're gonna have some problems.
Yep.
No, that being said, it is sad that Square Enix doesn't realize that everything Helzo just said is exactly why this Claire Obscure did well. That's why Final Fantasy isn't doing well. Once the passion is gone, you're just churning out a label on a game and it doesn't work anymore.
I'm sorry for biting into Kai's time. I do apologize, but you've probably eaten Kai. So what folks don't understand is, despite the fact that Expedition 33 did so well, if it was made by Square Enix, it wouldn't have been profitable and would have been a financial failure for them.
Yes.
That's why they don't do that sort of thing anymore. Because ever since they merged together, they realized we can't make these kinds of games and make them profitable for the size and scope of what the company is.
It's funny you mentioned that, Digny, because there is one thing that Square Enix is actually surprisingly adept at, and then they don't market it, which is that HD 2D department. Other than the Dragon Quest 3 debacle with the gender, everything else they put into that department has been spot on. The Octopath series, Bravely Default, which they didn't market particularly well. I think Switch exclusivity was retarded because of the fact that they said they weren't going to do exclusivity anymore. All that is very well. Guess what? That caters to sort of that base of RPG gamer. It's very cheap to put those out. It's not expensive to make them. They have a sort of vibe to them that feels good, that reminds you of the old school vibe. But what's Square Enix marketing? The umpteenth bloated remake of Final Fantasy VII, because some people that Dash probably hangs out with really enjoy writing gay fanfics of Sephiroth and Cloud. All right. We need the Yaoi. We need the Yaoi crowd. We need more Cloud and Sephiroth fanfic fat material. Let's just regurgitate Final Fantasy VII 80 more times.
Kai, go ahead. Come on, give us your thoughts.
All right. Basically, I don't. the hardcore Call of Duty people are going to accept this no matter what. The problem is though is that, like what was mentioned before, if you all were able to properly optimize it and make it to where this game was going to be initially 25 gigabytes at the very start, you all would have done it at the very beginning. But now, like, you don't get actual game developers in these companies anymore. All you're doing is you're just hiring people who agree with you on a bunch of other bullshit that has nothing to do with game developing. That's why nothing that comes out in these AAA studios are properly optimized, is because these people don't know how to properly make video games. And
Well,
the whole entire and the whole topic of that you Digny was bringing up earlier about the whole thing with Cyberpunk and all that, we're going to see we're going to see an example of that literally here in the next few days with Silk Song, where these people were initially just going to create this as just a DLC to the original Hollow Knight, but then they just kept on adding more and more stuff until they decided that, yeah, you know what, we're going to make this a sequel to that game. And you got that whole entire thing of when Silk Song coming out. It will come out when it is ready. And now we'll get to see if the 7 years that it took for them to make this after initially announcing it is going to fully pay off, because this is coming from a team that is actually passionate about the games that they are making.
Well,
And that is what
absolutely true.
Well, I'll finish. I'll just finish by saying this. Considering where the entertainment industry as a whole is heading, the future projects of games for franchises, say like Claire Obscure, might be on systems that don't even exist yet. In fact, E33 started production before the Unreal Engine 5 came to existence. So that just goes to show, when most people find out that it took 5.5 years for Expedition 33 to go from concept to creation, and then you tell them it was actually finished in under 2 years. I think it was about 20 months from pre-production to production to post-production. They were on the eve of releasing the game on Unreal Engine 4. Mostly the first act, and then Kill the Paintress game done. Very linear game, folks. Very cartoony, too. But they decided not to do that. And I think, great, because we got one hell of a fantastic game. But from a financial perspective, from a money man's perspective, you could have turned this into a fantastic trilogy. Act 2 with the curator as the big boss, and not the paintress. That could have been a great second game, and then you could have made a great third game in the future about, do we save the canvas or do we destroy it? Make a big game of, are you Team Verso or are you Team Mael, and make it like that. So that's why there is a place for creativity, absolutely, but there's also a place for corporate. That's why the best companies balance them both.
And that's what I was going to say, that corporate is a big thing. Like Kai brought up the passion projects, right? Passion projects are great because you get a great game. But unfortunately, one of the biggest side effects of corporatism is this: we have to meet deadline. We have to get this game out by Christmas season. We have to get this game out by this rush or that rush. And what happens is you don't have these developers, they don't have passion. So like when I was young and Final Fantasy VI, was a new thing, they would stay locked in a damn room, all right, until the game was done. Like nobody went home. Nobody had 6 wine breaks or whatever the hell they do now, or posting on social, or worrying about what Kotaku thinks or any of these places. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to see my family until this game is done. And we're probably going to do a lot of illegal narcotics to stay awake. All right, which is very common.
So that's why, like sniffing that crack.
And
so that's why,
and that's what got us Happy Tree Friends as a show, and what got us Carmageddon as a game.
And that's why Grums got sacked from Blizzard. My goodness, but it is. Go on, Kai, and then I'll make a final point.
But but that's the one thing that we're starting to see with games like Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is the fact that we're starting to see these studios that people are starting to declare as AA studios, where they're not bogged down by all of these like high expectations of making sure that the game needs to make a profit and all that. Because if that was going to be the case, then they wouldn't have released the game at $50 because that was still.
To me, Kai, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but to me, the biggest problem with Sandfall now is that they've made their Matrix movie. The next ones are not going. The next ones are not going to be as good. And if they go the Final Fantasy direction, then we already know the ending of Sandfall. They'll merge with another up-and-coming company and become the next Square Enix in 20 years.
You mean we get an axe-wielding furry and some DEI?
Oh dear. No, it'll be something different in 2040 or 2050. It'll be the zoological movement or something. But I'm sorry to grind the brakes on the train, but I am looking after Helzo, who's dipping his toes into hosting a show for the first time, and I don't want him to go nuts doing this, because I've seen creators go insane doing
Jokes on
this.
you, I'm already nuts. If you have seen my latest Elden Ring streams, I'm already far gone. So always good.
Alrighty then. Well, I think what we should do now is that we should ask all these people what their future plans are, and then we can tie a bow on this fantastic pilot episode, as my computer suddenly decided to reboot itself because it's getting too warm, despite the fact that it has a fan going at 50 miles an hour blowing in.
And despite the fact that it's an evening and it should be getting colder.
Exactly.
Where do you live in opposite land?
No. It is that warm. That's why I don't use this computer in the summer. I only use it when it's starting to get colder. But let's start off with Furious Dan. What are your future plans?
Yeah, my future plan is to do a second stream if I get a chance to. I streamed 5 hours before I came in here, and that was Metal Gear Solid, but I did it on a Rumble Premium to actually complete my Rumble Premium content for the month. And then my other plan is to stream Shinobi. Hopefully I get a chance to stream Shinobi today, or either flip a coin and keep going with Metal Gear the Twin Snakes. So I mean, the game is an older game, but at least the game is more based than compared to the other games we've been seeing that's been coming out lately that's full of censorship and almost close to being banned. So so my future plan is to stream today. Stream on more today, or maybe not. Not sure where I'm gonna end up at. But like I said, you can follow me there if you guys want. It's on the link right there. I mean, if you can put the link up there. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Rumble.
Everyone.
Yep. And my normal time is either 6:30 start streaming, or 7 or 8 o'clock around there. I start streaming around that time. And that was my daughter. God bless you. God bless you again. My daughter in the background.
Awesome. Good. Thank you very much. Let's move to Jace, Dragon Ball Z guy. Love the shirt, by the way. Love the shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're Hispanics, we're required to like Dragon Ball Z, so there's that. Of course, I'm Jace with Cancel This Podcast. We come to you Thursday nights, 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. You got my co-host John hosting his show. I do game streams throughout the week. Labor Day today is actually the 31st birthday of classic Square Enix Square RPG Live a Life. I'll be finishing the game tonight on my Rumble channel, which you can find all of my channels on http://allmylinks.com/cancel this podcast. I say it that way because YouTube's algorithm probably doesn't like the green platform with the R word. I think they like the other R word more than they like the word Rumble. But you can follow me there. I'm too crude for YouTube. This is me. If this is a YouTube version of me, you can only imagine what the uncensored version of me is on everything else throughout the week. Let's just say YouTube would ban me within about 5 minutes. And then I would have a cartoon avatar. And I don't draw very well. So there's that. Thank you guys. And I appreciate y'all. And
there's such thing as AI.
Yeah.
It's the dignified cartoon Latino.
Like Kiki.
The more donations you give Helzo, folks, the more likely. And thank you, Roadkill. You are paying your way onto being a permanent member. Dan, where's your donations to match? Yes,
We just
not-
got
I give
amazing
every
stories.
little as much as I can to help out.
It's
I
all
guess
right. It's all right. It's all right. We all know you hate cats. That's why. You
no,
have
I
to-
love
You're an
animals in
absolute
general.
legend.
I feed cats
Uh,
outside if I see them starving.
Don't
Yeah.
don't
I
don't
do.
mind me, folks. I'm just writing this down because I need to know exactly how much Helzo is making. Wink, wink, nod, nod. For this show only. All right. Then.
Absolute legend. Thank you, Roadkill. Again, this channel has two functions: to grow, to become full time, and to help homeless animals and animals in shelters. If you're a member of my channel, you will see the member only videos, which I tend to upload every week at least, feeding homeless animals, homeless cats. I have a lot of community posts, especially recently, about helping adopting. We adopted a fourth cat at our home, and it's been going on because I can tell you stories about how many cats single people take care of because other people don't have to or don't want to or can't, and that also goes for dogs and for other animals as well. So this is one of the things that I do on this channel, and this is one of the things that I use this channel for. So Roadkill, thank you very much. What you're doing, this is going to go very, very towards those activities. But I would like to continue on again with actually with Roadkill. Thank you, Jace. Thank you. It was very nice, and the full layout brought out your T-shirt very amazingly. Roadkill, it is now you. Let me just solo you out.
I'm more nowadays. Now I am coming into this scene. Just a commentator. I do shows with noise pollution on Mondays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central.
And Wednesdays.
And I'm also going to be a part of System Crash on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'm really excited and proud to be a part of that because I think that's going to be a good movement as far as topics and what we discuss and things like that. But upcoming, I will be on the Green Channel, not the Red, and that will be gaming. I want to create more of like a veteran community, veteran gamer community. Anyone's welcome, obviously, but I just want to kind of gather in a bunch of folks that are in the same spot as I have been in, and enjoy the same things that I like: gaming, movies, music, all things like that. So that'll be my thing coming up soon. But you can find me on the Green Channel at the same name that you see right now. All caps, Roadkill _101. Nuclear physicist and professional cellar dweller. These are my monikers. I just I don't make the rules. So you guys are great. Thank you for having me on, and happy first show, man.
Thank you, and absolutely, it is me who should be thanking, and I am thanking all of you for, first of all, getting this opportunity and to being here to kind of support me through my stumblings through my ever first show. So I absolutely thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for the great conversations. We continue on with another amazing person, in my opinion. And just before I continue, being on YouTube has allowed me to meet all of you guys, and I've just became sure that the world is not such a bad place when it has people as sensible, which is something that I hold very dear in my life, as you guys. And thank you for that. Just from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for basically being here. And now, Kai, you are on top spot.
Yes. I'll be streaming later on tonight over on my D&D channel called Rustic Rollers. Me and my group will be streaming my game for the One Piece D&D campaign that I'm running. As for other future plans, I'm still working all that stuff out. But if you want to be updated on whenever I do make the updates and everything, just you can follow me over at Kai Schwarzer, which is where I am everywhere, even on the red platform, both the green platforms, and the purple platform.
Excellent.
Which
Excellent.
green platform? The one who sells gambling to children, or the one where you can only grow if you dick ride off the founders?
Yes.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Kai, and do go there and follow, watch, enjoy, interact with all of these. But before we continue with Dingy, or the dignified cartoon gentleman,
I'm
with
not
the
a
lovely
dinghy. I'm a
avatar.
digney. I'm not a dinghy for
I
migrants.
said Digny.
Did you say
Digny.
Tigme? I thought you said Tigme.
Tick me.
Sorry.
Tick me.
All
Tickle
right,
me
sorry.
Elmo.
Sorry.
Tickle me Elmo. We do have another super from Villarin for, and I hope I'm saying this name right at least.
Valerian.
I haven't been in Villarin. All right. Thank you. Thank you, native English speakers, for correcting my Balkan ass, for the pilot and for the animals. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the 5. It is very well received, and I know that someone is keeping track. Anyways,
Yes, I am. So officially, folks, by UK pounds, because that's what I use, Helzo has thankfully raised £23 and a penny, factoring in YouTube taking 30%, and by UK standards, because the UK has like a 10% tax system. So I'm calculating it off of Helzo getting 60% of all his donations. So that's £23 and a penny, all of which will go to him and to his cats. And who knows, I might get a nice donation at the end of the month, especially if next week's show does as well as I think. And speaking of future plans, folks, thank you,
this
Helzo.
is your time.
Yes, it is. You can
Yes,
check
it
me
is.
out over at the Dignified Cartoon Gentleman, at Dignified Cartoon Gentleman, all one word, capital letters for the D, the C, and the G. I will be making videos from this show tomorrow and on Wednesday. And also check out our other network shows this Wednesday for Noise Pollution System Crash, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. A special guest for that pilot will be Jay Viper. Then Friday show, same time, Dash Attacks Old White Road, where the real Mark Fox will be a special guest. And tune in for next Monday's Tangent Kings, Discuss Things Tangent Kings episode 2, where Smash JT will be a special guest. I was thinking either a panel of 3 or a panel of 4. I was thinking Helzo, myself, and Jose, along with Smash, because I think Jose has carried a good portion of this show, so he should be rewarded. Don't worry, Roadkill. We'll introduce you to prominent creators in time. Just keep donating. And
Thank you.
Dan, gotta give more money if you want me to build a
Pay your
bridge.
goddamn taxes.
Oh, man.
And
Here's
don't
something
worry,
else.
Kai. Don't worry, Kai. You don't have to pay a dime.
You know, I always
just
good.
like you.
You know, I always good. Build good bridges of the best I could.
So,
Yeah.
so if you haven't already, like the stream, share the stream, follow us all on our respective sites, and check me out too, because you're gonna see a lot of content coming in the future. Now on to Helzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do check out, and I highly encourage you to check every single one of these creators. This is how we do it, folks. We are people. We are not corporations. We're not companies. We're not big conglomerates. We're just people that speak our minds. We go on in front of a camera and we say what we think. Nobody's forcing us. Nobody's putting guns on separate parts of our bodies to threaten us with some violence if we don't say the right thing. We're speaking our minds. As for me, I will do what I have always been doing videos, doing gaming streams, currently playing Elden Ring. Seeing how this was my first show, I do hope everyone everyone, chat, the panelists did enjoy every bit of it. I do hope that we do a lot more of those. It was my absolute first panel show in my life, in my 10 years as a content creator. Even though I had breaks, it was my first time doing that, and I have to say something. I had a blast. So I would like to do a lot more of that, and you can expect me to see me for a long time, because I am not giving this up for nothing. I have spent the last week sleeping a total of 3 hours per night because of cat issues, because of nerves, because of everything. Today I woke up at 5:30, barely slept, went to work, had nerves there. This show and what I'm doing on YouTube and what I think everyone's doing on YouTube has been a remedy, a cure for everything that ails me. And I encourage everyone with a creative thought, with someone who wants to express their passionate side, their creative side, to do that. Set up a YouTube channel, set up a camera, your phone mic, buy a cheap mic, or even don't. Do silent ones. Express your artistic views and do it for your own reason. That is what I would always promote, and that is why I think everyone should aim for. And that's the way it is. Thank you very much.
Nice.
So are we just ending the show now?
Well, we could have gone out with a blast or someone throwing a brick at Jace again, and just having it as a good one. But
Well,
yes,
I'll finish. I'll just finish up by saying this, and then Helzo can just press the what is it, like the
Yes.
end stream button?
yeah.
Better a brick than a spear. Good night, everyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes,
right,
and stay
man.
fresh.
You know what? Let's throw a chancla instead.